Cross River State government says it will ensure justice in the murder of 31-year-old Princewill Ikenna, allegedly killed by two pastors in 2022. The case had faced repeated delays, prompting outrage from the victim's family and widespread concern from the public. According to the Ministry of Justice, the case filed as Inspector General of Police versus Uchenna, Peter Chikwekwe and Valentine Aleosius was stalled after the presiding judge was reassigned to an election tribunal. One of the defendants, Pastor Uchenna, had earlier been released on health grounds. Following the complaint from Princewill's brother, the Attorney General ordered an inquiry into the matter. Investigations revealed that the court register failed to transmit the case file, causing further delays. The staff member has since been queried and referred for disciplinary action. The Attorney General has now directed the Director of Public Prosecutions to take over the case to ensure diligent prosecution. 3 suspects, Elvis Ntwai, Pastor Effiong, and Wombari, remain at large. The Solicitor General assured that the ministry is working closely with the police to apprehend the fugitives and restore public confidence. The family of the late Princewill Ikenna says it remains hopeful that justice will prevail. This is like a developing story. When this report dropped, the brother of the man came to social media. This story, first of all, begins for me showing the power of social media. He came online and talked about how his brother had gone to cut his hair on a Saturday night. And they don't live together, but they all attend the same church as a family. And when they were in church, they were expecting him to show up in church. And his mom was like, it's not possible that, he doesn't miss church at all for anything. So even during the service, the mom left church to go over to his house to look for him. When she got there, the neighbor said, he didn't sleep at home. So the mother went back to church and said, he didn't sleep at home. And I think they went to the police station, tried to file a case of missing person. They told them to give them 24 hours. In all, they now, called them to identify a body. They went and identified and saw that he was the one shot 3 times to the head. This man had been killed. Now, the case moves forward from that point. I'm just giving you a little bit of a background because, this is a continuation because now the government is calling public prosecution. The outcry of the public has been heard and the case is now being recalled. So I'm just giving you a background of the events that happened that brought us here. Now, they saw him shot. He had 3 gunshot injuries to the head. And they couldn't find his car. So his brother narrated how he went over to the Princewill's house, as it were, to just look around if he could find anything. And he was able to get the car, the person, the company that is helping the brother or that put a tracker on the man's car. Now, when he spoke to this person, the person said, I will find out the details. Long and short of the story is the guy did direct them to where the car was. The car was already in Lagos. This happened in Cross River State. They traveled to Lagos, saw the car in a panel beater shop. They were repainting and refurbishing the entire car. And they came with the police, arrested the panel beater, and the person said, I'm just a worker. Someone brought the car. Who brought the car? They told him what to say. It was a pastor that came and said a member of his church gifted him the car. Now, when he had said a member of the church gifted him the car, they said, who is the member that gifted you the car? And the pastor said he cannot remember the member because he receives a lot of gifts. Right. After due diligence, to some degree, has been done, eventually they said, the owner of this car has died. He has been shot at Cross River State. And he said, he has never been to that place before in his life. So they called in his wife for questioning. Where was your husband on so dates when this event happened? And the wife said, he had gone to Cross River State for a crusade of some sort of crusade. So pastor invited him and he went on a crusade. Now, after this fact has been established, of course, somebody is lying. He eventually confessed that he was there when they shot the guy, but he wasn't the one that shot the guy. And it was him, the other pastor, and one other person, Ntwai, that his name is already, out there in the reports. And this case went to court. But after a while, the guy was released on health grounds by the judge. When he was released, the brother of the victim said he sent someone to his church. And there he was on the pulpit preaching. And the case has remained cold since 2022. What are your thoughts on this report?
Otaria, the Nigerian system is a menace. The Nigerian system is so appalling. Now, that's why I would say the system needs to be refurbished, needs a total revamping. Now, owning from, in the system, just like what Chinachibe affirmed that things fall apart and the center cannot hold. These are the persons that should uphold diligence, should uphold decorum in the system. And they're the persons who are pushing forth for such. Okay, only from that of the pastors ganging up to eliminate someone's life in attempt to achieve maybe financial support or a car. It is totally fermented, totally appalling. And on the part of the judge who also allowed them, also freed them for, based on the issue of health. Health issue, what has health issue got to do with life? The same person is involved, the suspect is involved in a death issue, which allegedly he has affirmed that he was also involved in the process. That's why he said he was not the one that killed, but he was within the scene there. And now he has been apprehended and taken to court, and the judge said on health ground, and the same person who went on health ground is found preaching. Oh, for crying out loud, Otara, what is he preaching in his church? What's he preaching? That's how even the Bible says that the judgment will start from the church, because we have so many hypocrites, so many persons who are tricksters found in the church, and most of these persons are holding the major positions in churches. I'm not saying in churches or religious gatherings, which are these persons ought to be people that is said to be the same persons that are bringing down the system. And that's why once you introduce yourself that you're a pastor, people look at you, they want to applaud you, but to say, and so what has this person got to do? So another. So I believe the system needs total reformation, and I found at the judiciary and military has really not been pushing the way they ought to push, and really not be really concerned about the citizenry. I mean, we've not really looked at the law, how the law should take its course. And now, I don't want to say if there's a level of corruption, I don't want to look at that level. If there's a level of corruption within the judicial arm or another, but that is not our concern. Our concern is that the law should be, and that is why somebody said and affirmed that that looking at the law, you see a lady in jurisprudence, you see a lady holding a scale and holding a sword, and which means that the scale is to weigh the level of what you've done, and the sword is to give judgment. And that's why she's blindfolded. Somebody said, I think the lady now has been, the scarf has been removed in the Nigerian situation. That the lady can see properly, and that's why and that's why the laws in the country is wavering around about. But I am holistically frowning against such, and I'm also using this as a clarion call to say the persons that are moving. Otaria, you know where this problem is coming from? Do you know most of our churches today, you see a general overseer, or you see a lead pastor, someone who just opened the church, you just look at 3 of his members who things have been committed in the past 3-6 months, right, and say, okay, this person should be poured oil on them. so they should become pastors, and they automatically become pastors. And many persons that did not go through foundation school, did not go to theology, did not attend any form of religious affairs, but just that they were committed in the church, maybe coming early to sweep and all that. These persons are being handpicked and poured oil, and before you know, they start following up. Next thing you say, they say God called them and they should open their own church, and that's how. And that's why you see, because there's no level of purification of oneself in themselves, purification of oneself. Okay, these things I was doing before, I won't do them again. I've solely accepted Christ solely, and for that reason, I've been called a pastor. And as such, sin, I shouldn't go back to sin. I shouldn't look at the word of the word. So for that, I should be. So that is why we keep having issues like this. Well, pastors ganging up to take one's life. Maybe much like because of wealth, and the system is totally bastardized.
Now, but you know that this matter happened in 2002. If this man did not have access to social media, I mean, this is the age when you see stories like this. This is when you begin to, be grateful for social media, because he came out with this story. The story went viral and people got to hear about it. But when you look at the trajectory of this case since 2022, you would agree with me that this cannot be an isolated event. The judge was, moved to the election tribunal. There has been no follow-up. The pastor and other criminals have been out roaming around freely. What then do you think is the hope for the common man that doesn't have access to social media but is in a similar case?
But that's why I say the system has been bastardized. Because now, let's not look at the hope for the common man first. Let's look at the hope of the family, the diseased family. What would be there? How would they see this to be? That maybe in a matter of 2 days, and they are seeing this pastor on pulpit, they're seeing this culprit roaming around the streets. Don't you think this culprit or these suspects will even go to cause more harm, because they feel that there's a cliche that and some boys were using those days in the old Port Harcourt township. Someone will say Samco tested, which means that I went there and nothing happened and I'm back to the street to do more. So we're using that as a guide to say, okay, Samco tested. Samco tested means I've been there and I've been there in the prison, I've been there in the cell and nothing happened, so I'm here in the street, so I should do more. So that is with the effort these persons who use to push out this. But if they were detained, I'm not saying based on the law, they were detained, maybe the law had it cost on them that this is a murder case. And these persons were, I believe, suspects also have this, and
we have lots of people on our waiting trial.
Waiting trial, and we also have conspiracy. Okay, even if they are not, but they've conspired, they should also be in a conspiracy. Okay, these are the laws, and they should be channeled. At least they should be in prison as the law demands. But the case was just wobbled and all that. So for the family, they think that since 2022. Nothing good has happened, and for the common man sees that's the level of disillusionment for the common man in the street. That's the level of exploitation and alienation for that of the common man, because he feels that even if he pushes further, even if he pushes further, the system may not. Justice will not really prevail, just as this.